In the beginning, there was nothing. And then there was the Drunken Peasants Podcast.
I gotta get a witness. No!
Say, man, you got a joint? No, not on me, man.
I don't have facts to back this up.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
That's true. Sometimes I cry.
Oh! Lick my butthole, he laughed.
From the strangest corners of the internet, here to bring you opinions of the world from an altered perspective. Here are your hosts, the Drunken Peasants.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Drunken Peasants Podcast. This is episode 1253. Doing it live once again on a very special Monday episode. We got Billy the Fridge back again. Welcome back again,
Monday.
William the Fridge, on this lovely Monday evening.
Monday. A lot of people don't like Mondays.
Did you feel the earthquake yesterday? We had a
I did not. I might have been on the road when it happened. I don't know.
Huh. Yeah, it was a very mild earthquake, but it was like you would have been closer to it than me. Because you're like northwest of me, and it was like Whidbey Island area. It was like a 6.5 or 4.5. It was a 4.
I think it was 4.2,
something like that.
I read that first was reported as a 4.5. Then I saw 4.2 afterwards. Could be wrong. Could be 4.5.
Something like that. No,
did you feel it?
No.
Yeah, I was on the road. I was driving to my sister's in south of Seattle. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it was,
if it might have just felt like a truck going down the road or something, you know, like the washing machine bumping around. So if I felt it, I didn't know what it was. It was not apparent as to what it was. Everyone out there, please like the stream. Please like the stream right now.
Like it.
Do it now. Also, check out the pre-show. We record a pre-show before every episode. You can check it out. The one from the last episode is up right now. It's on all the audio platforms. So if you use Spotify or use Apple Podcasts, you'll find it there. Check it out.
You never know what we'll be up to in the pre-show.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, honestly, some of the people that we talk about on this show and we mock on this show, specifically people who may have murdered their wives, maybe that's the stuff we do on the pre-show. You don't know what we do unless you listen. You have no idea.
Maybe. Yeah, like the stream. We're gonna check this out. We're gonna take a trip down memory lane and revisit the time where we had JF on. This was like March of 2018, and we had him debating this guy because we were going to start doing debates again, like hosting debates on the show, and we just found some random guy that wanted to debate JF. And
he was not the hero we needed.
No,
but it was a fun debate.
Yeah. I clipped a little bit of it here for us to watch and react to, so we're going to get right into it. Here it goes.
Turn off that goddamn internet.
Oh, don't touch me. Don't touch me. TP, are they going to touch me?
Bow, wow, wow, wow.
And historically, you like to refer to history. Historically, the people who have improved the state of liberty on this planet were often white. The people who wrote the First Amendment, they were white. So if I'm going to bet on someone, it's going to be the white race. If I have to establish a society where I hope that one day fathers can care for their children, the white family can be restored, and we can start thinking about the future, not in terms of who's going to replace us like you do, but in terms of how we will frame a world for our children to live in.
But
I like how he's referencing the First Amendment as some sort of great achievement in technology. Like that's why you're going to choose white men, because the First Amendment.
Even in your own admission, not only are you okay with race mixing and participate in race mixing, but you also are okay with minorities being within the ethno-state. So your ethno-state isn't insulated from these population changes that you're so worried about. It sounds like what you really want is to create a state where you can reproduce with anyone you want as much as you want. And I'm not sure if that should be a system that...
I think before this, he made his famous like Asian ladies are hot, so they can be in the ethno state.
And it was noted that he had dated a woman who was mixed between.
He said "black like Obama" was his quote.
Other members,
and I believe there was a Latino woman as well.
The very low IQ one from Texas.
Yeah, he's just he wants an ethno state in the state, but not in the sheets.
Should be going for. It sounds like it's more self-serving to you than an actual tangible political statement.
There's a few fallacies in there. The first is a false dichotomy. You say it seems that you want a state where you want to reproduce with anything you want. Oh yeah, I'm totally for reproductive liberty, and if I'm going to participate to a state that approves
Bacon's rebellion, the white race didn't exist. Europeans identified with nationality. The rebellion was a multiracial labor uprising. White people were invented by the bourgeoisie to divide labor.
Tell me more about this Bacon's rebellion.
It's going to be a state where the citizens can choose who they breed with. Absolutely, I am for reproductive liberty in the ethno-state.
This is funny hearing a white nationalist ethno-state talk about mixed breeding. Like almost every single one I've heard of was preserve the white race. And he's like, I'll take what I can get.
The interventions of the state to kidnap your children or change your children's life in ways that you cannot control. That's one thing. The second thing is you say, I want minorities in the ethno-state. The thing is, I will tolerate certain amounts of minorities because I don't want to create an ethno-state violently. That being said, if you look at plans like the one suggested by Ryan Falk, which is separating 4 or 5 states.
In our fan chat, the Mad Clown says, damn, who would have thought JF would have gone from a quirky French scientist to white nationalist to murder? I think quirky French scientist might be the worst thing out of those 3.
No.
If you get everyone who is sympathetic to the alt-right currently in the US and you have them move to a handful of states, 4 or 5 states.
This is where he sets it up for your question.
In the northern part of the US, you will attain a 95% white majority in that state. This is where I'm thinking, let's not invade on the rights of the 5%. Let's accept their presence.
He wants to take over North Dakota or something, or Wyoming or whatever. Yes, King Cobra JFS can be part of the superior white ethno state.
He already is.
Saying that the white ethno-state would be opening its border. To the contrary, the white ethno-state would be isolated from such invasions by having a strict immigration policy, if not no immigration at all.
JF, you're talking about having all the alt-right sympathetic people move to 4 or 5 states or whatever. Is that's what you're saying?
Yep.
There's a floating island of garbage in the Pacific Ocean right now. I think if we get a Kickstarter going, we might be able to make it habitat for those that would like to live in their own sovereign land.
He's processing it.
He's ready to kill me.
That soil is rich in nutrients.
Have you thought about that?
Just do your Kickstarter and bring your garbage people to your garbage land. I don't give a fuck.
No, I mean,
he's mad
for a new land. It's sovereign land, right? You can have your own rules there. It's the size of Texas, floating around the Pacific. This is your dream, though. I'm giving you an option here, so somewhere to start. This garbage land is just floating there.
I live on a piece of garbage. You say it's a piece of floating garbage? I didn't say I want to live on a piece of floating garbage.
It's a garbage island, though. It's in the Pacific Ocean. Nobody owns it. You could take that. You could terraform
Well, you
it.
go for it. You make your fucking Kickstarter and leave me alone. I don't care about floating pieces of garbage. I'm talking to you about a land where my children can live.
Wow, see? How dare you? How dare you stop him from doing that? He just wants a land where his children can live.
You could see in his eyes. He was ready to Mama JF me.
Yeah.
Well, at what point does the government intervene if the parent is just unfit to be a parent?
Well, it's very simple. If the parent commits crimes, violent crimes, then the government intervenes. If the parent does not commit crimes and is not proven guilty in any court of law, the family court shuts up and does what its job is, which is to make a custody schedule.
Is abduction and coercion considered a violent crime?
Abduction and coercion in certain instances.
Does JF know where he's going with this?
I'm not sure.
Is a violent crime, yes.
Okay.
Why do you ask this?
I was wondering what your status would be in your own ethno-state if the courts had swung a certain direction.
My status in the ethno-state would be the same as it is in the current state, which is that I've never committed a crime in my life. Do you take issue with this statement?
I will say that you've never been sentenced to a crime in your life.
All right. I'm not interested in the rest. You can keep your crazy thoughts for you.
He's not amused. Anything else?
I'm still struggling with a few things.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
The first is that if you carve out these states in the north, there are significant portions of regions in the north that have majority-minority populations. I also just want to ask you what you think the current status of a lot of majority white populations are in parts of the United States. I come from a majority white rural area, and I wouldn't exactly call it the ideal nation state to start moving a country forward.
Oh, absolutely. I've always said 95% of the white race, I would leave them behind.
Then what makes them so good if the vast majority of them are just worth leaving behind?
And why would you be anywhere near the top 5%?
It almost seems like the white commonality, the whiteness commonality isn't what makes the good ones, right?
Like, I got to tell you, the top 5% of white people don't think the way he does.
Right.
They're too busy being the top 5% of the racial majority. Doing all right on their own.
So in that case, the people that you would be replacing from these regions up north would probably be removed. So you're removing huge swaths of people. I want to understand what process could make this be a peaceful transition. Because I can't imagine people would very happily leave an area because you want to go there and have free reproduction.
Oh yeah, well, the plan of Ryan Falk is precisely to choose states that have a large superficie, a large area that is unoccupied. And so the goal is that there's lots of space to expand without committing any acts of violence. So the proposition that Ryan Falks make is that if these...
He basically wants a reservation. Like for the government to take this empty space of land and reserve it for whites. That's what he wants.
They have casinos there, or would they find something else?
They could have casinos there.
People who are outright sympathetic just choose to build on unoccupied lands in the parts of the U.S. where there's the most area available. Then we can create that majority without kicking people by force.
Where are there these huge contiguous parts of the country that would be economically feasible to generate a nation state? Are you going to go hide in the woods of Montana and just be self-sufficient without any real modern benefits that we get from the rest of the country? Like, you can't generate an economy based off of like parts of Nebraska and Montana.
Well, look at European states and just tell yourself that any state that would separate in such a way would be bigger than a lot of European states. And so the US has plenty of space to be a much bigger country than your average European country. Yet these European countries are doing
Would it be
good.
bigger than the successful European countries that stand out for their social work? Or would it be bigger than the European countries that
there is
on the lower end?
There is enough empty space where they could have like, you know, a nation state the size.
Oh, I thought he was talking about economically bigger.
Oh,
I
no.
I thought this was an economics question.
Well, economically bigger, that would take it depends on how many people would start off living there.
He says he wants 5% of the white race. I guess if he's getting the upper 5%, they could probably hang.
One lives in the wood. They have houses. They have an economy. So I'm not worried at all in terms of having a minimal size. If you take 4 or 5 states from the U.S., you have already a very big country compared
What about
to your average.
What would the border situation be like between the U.S. and this ethno-state, you know, assuming it was in former U.S. land?
I mean, we're talking about hypothetical historical scenarios, so who knows what would be the state. Personally, what I would wish is a state of free trade, a state where the economy is encouraged to grow inside while having as much exchange with the outside as it is business-wise clever to do so.
I was just asking specifically because you were using Europe as an example, and a lot of the countries in Europe have open borders with one another and have open trade with one another.
Absolutely. So, I'm not against open trade.
I think JF would have been a fan of Brexit around this time, wouldn't he have?
I don't know. I wasn't paying that much attention to him, so I don't remember his stance on that. I don't know. But JF wouldn't have open borders the way the EU has it. You know, he wants trade because he wants stuff to still come in from other places, but he doesn't want the kind of people he doesn't like to be let in.
I also want to remind everybody watching right now to like the stream, click the bell icon, flick the bean. It's very important. The health of this channel survives if you flick the bean.
Yeah, it's crazy because when this channel got most of its subscribers, the bean didn't even exist. There was just the subscribe button, and then they added the bean later, and then they added the like alert all the time or whatever. It's like they turned what used to be a one-step process and they made it 3 times as long. You click subscribe, then you click the bell, then you click every time or whatever it is. You know what? And I heard some people say that to fix their notifications and us showing up in their feed, they unsubscribed, resubscribed, and then clicked the bell and all that shit. And now they get notifications. So I don't know. Sweet. YouTube does not work its best, but you can help by liking the stream and subscribing and making sure you've got the bell clicked. I hate saying it because I'm pissed off that they used to have, like, subscribing used to mean one thing, and over the years it's changed so drastically that, like, you have your subscription number, but then you have how many people subscribe to you are actually getting alerts, and do they get them every time or just some? Who the fuck would choose some of the time?
Obviously, Susan Wojcicki.
Well, like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like either I want notifications or I don't. Like, why would you have to do it? It just doesn't make any sense. Whoever's idea that was, you're insane. Here we go.
They want new notifications. They don't want old notifications.
No.
The movement of people freely that come into your country, replace you, and invade on your personal liberties. I have no problem with dealings and trucks coming in and then leaving.
What about the type of thing that they have in the EU where, you know, if you're a citizen of country A in the EU, it's easy for you to move to country B and work there without needing a visa or anything like that?
Country B was my rap name.
On this, some people...
Fantasy A and Country B.
People would want the ethno-state and the alt-right. Some people would want the ethno-state to be a kind of land of refuge for any white person. So these people, they would want the ethno-state to be like Israel is for the Jews. Anyone has a right to return. Personally, I'm less on that side. I would say I'm more of a local separatist. That's probably because of my culture in Quebec. Personally, I would just secede a part of current countries, and I would just build with whoever has joined this country at the onset. Now, what would it look like in terms of borders? Maybe there would be countries where immigration would be more favorable. Maybe the people who would get together in that state would decide, well, immigration from France makes sense, immigration from the UK makes sense, but immigration from Botswana doesn't make sense.
From Botswana.
Wow, anti-Botswana JF.
Real quick. So the UK, for example, is a country I'm guessing you think is sort of on this leftward trajectory of taking away family. So why would immigration from the UK be okay then? Are you going to make them take a test to see how well they fit your idea of reproductive liberty?
Well, I was clearly talking in hypotheticals. Certainly in the current state of the UK, I would not welcome a UK immigration, because welcoming UK immigration at this point is essentially welcoming a partly Muslim immigration, and I would be against that. Now, what would be the test? Personally, I'm for no immigration or close to no immigration at all. So personally, I would solve this problem by simply allowing immigration when there's a case of a marriage or when there's a very close relative, like a children or a wife or a husband.
Marriage.
Now, how would it go in the average ethno-state wished by the alt-right? It might take very different directions. Some people, they really care about IQ. So some people care about the IQ of people incoming. I'm not a big fan of IQ.
Did he say they really care about haikus?
Haikus, high IQ.
They really care about haikus.
And now he's saying he's not a very big fan of IQ.
Measures, so I don't really
we know.
If I can push one more question. So in your ethno-state, you would accept minorities who would already be there, you would accept race mixing, you would not accept immigration, but you understand that through time in this ethno-state, the genetic and cultural makeup would change as genes are mixing between individuals, and you would no longer have the same ethnic makeup and genetic makeup that you first started with. There'd be diffusion all over the place.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, there's nothing in what I mentioned that's about genetic makeup. I don't dream of a eugenic society where I control the genes. I say there are people on this planet who will never form a state where there's freedom. And I know who they are, and I won't team with them if I make a state.
Who are they?
I don't care if there's evolution in my ethno-state. I'm fine with evolution. I'm not fine with a constant replacement of white populations by other genes.
And are there specific
that's
genes?
Exactly the situation I said.
What?
What genes in specific are you?
Well, for example, I'm not for Canada becoming a majority Arab, Middle Eastern, Muslim country.
Okay. So is it mainly the religion of Islam that you have a problem with, not necessarily Arabs in general? Because I mean,
so that's a typical. There's lots of atheists out there who have a problem with the ideology of Islam. I have a greater problem. I have a problem with inviting in your country the genes that code for religious fervor in these population. I have a problem with
he thinks that religion is a genetic thing. Like
he's a
but there's Islam in Asia. Like Indonesia has more Muslims than any other country in the world. And they're not Middle Eastern, they're not Arabic.
What was his scientific study of that he was led him in his, like, do we know what his specialty was? He was
like neuroscience.
What was his specialty? Neuroscience.
Yeah.
So he thinks with neuroscience that the religion is a gene?
I don't know. I don't know if he explains what it is in relation to his studies.
I think genes that are not prepared for the state of liberty that the white people has built for itself. So I have a problem with much more than the ideology, because I know that ideology is not everything in human decision making. I know that what we are comes from our genes. And the populations that emerged from Botswana in 2018 today are not the same genetic makeup, and they are not as interesting for me to build a nation with as someone who comes from a UK or France genetic background.
What genes are you talking about when you're talking about religion or liberty? Like what is your framework of biology that makes you think that these traits work like that? Because we know that that's just quite simply not how complex sociocultural traits work. They're temporally constrained. There's contingencies based off of non-genetic factors. And I don't understand where you get this idea that there are some huge genetic difference between these populations.
The twin studies on the subject are very clear. There is a large genetic component to political preferences, religious behavior, and religious preferences, and religious involvement and fervor, and all sorts of personality traits that are associated with authoritarianism, libertarianism, and the kind of interaction between the family and the ideological systems. And so I have no doubt, based on these twin studies, that that you cannot impose a culture on everyone, and they will not accept it all at the same rate and not to the same extent. There are people who are genetically different from each other in a way that impacts their political behavior in the world today.
So I'm guessing, I'll fill in the gaps for you, that it's the heritability estimates that you are relying on to make this inference of genetic causation, correct?
First, I do not necessarily make an inference of DNA genetic causation. What I say is that the twin studies reveal that there are irritable traits, and parts of these irritable traits are political preferences and political behavior.
Okay, I'm gonna take a short second to break this down a little bit, because I think whether intentional or unintentional, there's some mixing up of terms, because heritability as a measure of variance in a population does not tell you the genetic causation or the contribution of genetics to traits, because in a very trivial level, we know that all traits are genetic because everything about humans is generated through genes. But knowing the differences in variance components of populations, which is all twin studies really do, they carve up how much variance is within genes and is not within genes, and the phenotypic variance is not the same thing as understanding what leads to traits. And you know this because you're a developmental biologist. So either you slid through on topics not related to this, or you're intentionally misrepresenting the biology to reach the goals.
You just don't understand
want.
What I said. You think that I care if it comes from DNA genes. I don't. I care about heritability. What I care about is if I have a Muslim person in my nation coming from, I don't know, Saudi Arabia.
By the way, this is these old donos that you see popping up on the screen here. This is the reason why I had to make it a $2 minimum, because you had white nationalists like Rust Bender here only willing to pay $1 to spew their hatred. You got to pay more than that.
You gotta pay at least twice that much for hatred on this
channel.
And that person has babies. What are the chances that the baby would also be Muslim? Now,
where are they?
Of course, there are undeniably reasons located in DNA for this, and there are reasons located in the brain of the people, and there are reasons located in the fact that they eat food and that they share thoughts, and that the culture will transmit itself. But the fact is, irritability of, for example, Muslim beliefs is about 80%. That's measured.
JF, you know that heritability estimates are constrained to location and time, right? So if you were to measure the heritability of a trait of a population in a different location, the heritability estimate wouldn't be identical.
Yeah, but I don't care about your imaginary world. I care about the real world. In the real world, 80% of Muslim babies will be Muslim.
In a particular location, what is the heritability of Muslimness in the West? Is it significantly less?
Yeah, I'm talking to you about numbers in the West. I'm talking to you about the US. That's the measured truth. You're talking about imagined world. I don't care about these worlds.
No, it happens all the time. So, for example, I do plenty of work in plant species. Plant heritability estimates for very common traits differ between fields in Iowa and in Missouri and in New York. This happens all the time because of the way that variance in environments manifests in different regions. Now, there are a ton of other issues that we can get into with heritability estimates in humans, because humans are a horrible study system. You can't replicate genotypes. You can't plant them again another year and see what happens in 2019 instead of 2018. There's a ton of issues mathematically in the way that these error components are estimated that leads to any difficulty in garnering firm...
JF, I don't care about genes coming from genes. I only care about those genes that cause things I don't care about being irritable, trade therapy.
Creepy.
Yeah. Sorry, that's not the real world. The real world, JF Garrity is right.
Someone start a tip train, by the way. If someone can help start the tip train rolling, that would be great. We're doing a show today, a show tomorrow, and then Thursday is the third show of the week. So,
yeah, do we remember this debater's name? Was it Some White Guilt?
No. I don't remember his name. I think his name might be in the title for this episode, but I'm not sure.
Conclusions from these models.
So again, we are stuck with the same argument by Kevin. Kevin doesn't know the future, but he thinks the future might be different. He doesn't know how you make a Muslim baby not Muslim, but he thinks that there may be a crop field in Iowa that turns young children from Muslim family non-Muslim. These are imagined world. What I'm telling you is that in the current world, we can observe how many babies of a Muslim family will become Muslims.
Yeah, but that's because of indoctrination, not genetics. No one's born Muslim. If that were the case, then before Muhammad was a thing, all the people in the Middle East would have just been born Muslim naturally.
Is mess weird, JF, saying that if you're born to a Muslim family, you will be Muslim by blood, not but because you were raised by Muslims.
That's exactly what I just said. Yep.
Yeah, like how many Christians are born to a strict Christian family and are able to break away from the Christianity?
I mean, like, look at the Roman Empire. Like, you know, for hundreds of years, if you lived in the Roman Empire, you followed the Roman religion, which was just based off of Greek mythology. And then as soon as Constantine came around and made it like a legal, legit religion, it slowly turned into it being like a theocratic state for Christianity. So it's
my parents were nudist crackheads, and I mean, look at me today.
Good point.
80% of them is the answer.
That is
the
not
truth.
what heritability
Kevin is
estimates
talking about a potential field in Iowa which might change his freaking plans.
Is there a difference between Arab Muslims and Muslims of other races?
Oh, there certainly is. I mean, there's detectable genetic differences between people who are in the regions of Czechoslovakia, for example, versus North African Muslims. You will detect these genetic differences. But to the extent, do we know, like, do we have enough details for the relation between the genotype and the phenotype to say, oh, therefore the Muslims from Czechoslovakia, they're better? Not really. We don't have that much data.
Okay.
If I may, I'm going to push back on this because you ran away with complete misrepresentations of what I said and complete misrepresentations of what heritability measurements are. A heritability estimate of 80% does not mean that 80% of offspring carry a trait. It means that 80% of variance in the population is associated.
Someone asks, how did we put up with this shit for so long? Go back and watch the old JF videos. He was kind of funny, a little goofy. He was good at being very logical about just debating atheism and sticking up for like normal like evolutionary biology and that kind of shit to crazies like G-Man. And then it was like around the turn into 2018, he started doing the race realism shit with Andy Warski, and that shit blew up. And then he was like this. We didn't We did not, like, old JF, like, seemed like a different person. Either he was hiding it back then, or he saw what was working the best for him and rolled with that.
And we were trying to stay out of the conversation so that they could have a debate, for the most part.
Yeah, here.
We slid in with some direction and we slid in with some jokes, but overall we were hoping that they would have the platform to back and forth clearly for this particular conversation.
With the phenotypic variation. That's not the same thing as 80% of X is Y that you're measuring. That's one thing. The first thing is that if you were to do a heritability estimate of being a Muslim in the Middle East before the Islamic religion came to be, you would have an estimate of 0, but the genetic makeup would be exactly the same. So you can understand why there is an entirely cultural artifact of these traits. And the reason is that it is dependent on the features in the area. Without Islam or with a different Islam, there's not going to be the same kinds of estimates.
The problem is I've not denied that Islam was transmitted culturally. Of course it has to be, because it cannot be in the genes that the Prophet Muhammad said this or that.
Right.
What I said is that there are inherited features of families that I wouldn't want in my countries. There are inherited political preferences that I wouldn't want in my country if I had the chance to choose. And if I build an ethno-state, I will choose based on these probabilities. I will choose based on the...
Yeah, I was looking at JF's Twitter timeline, and he's definitely on Israel's side.
Formation we have. I don't want to be surrounded by...
Which is weird. I don't... it's because he's more anti-Islam than he is anti-Jewish.
People who want to invade my liberties. That's all I said. I didn't say that parts of these were not transmitted culturally. I'm totally fine with it. All I'm saying to you is twin studies do show that parts of the political preferences are transmitted through DNA. And that's all I'm saying. I don't care what's the percentage, because what matters to me in the end is if I choose a Muslim parent to be living beside me, there are consequences to the ensemble of the line of descent that I will give rise to. My children will have to live with their children. And there are certain children that I wouldn't want around my children.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's the end of what I clipped from it. You guys can go watch it another time if you want.
Can't watch it now though. You're watching us live.
Yeah, and we've got more. Here's some of JF's recent tweets. Billy, can you do your best JF impersonation when you read this?
I could. Yeah, I'll try.
All
I'm
right.
not a great JF impersonator. John Francois Gareppi's new tweet. When I was doing my PhD, we would put long boots and walk in rivers that were not so deep so you could see the bottom. With the water arriving somewhere between the knees and the hips, we were carrying 2 large electrodes, each long like 3 baseball bats. We would hold them close to the sand and inject an electrical current powered by a large backpack battery that we're carrying on our backpacks. The fuck does that mean? A creature like the one below, a lamprey, was sometimes popping up from its hiding in the sand in reaction to the shock. It had been there for 1 to 7 years, living under the sand, filtering the water it could feed to. All it took was a small electric shock to make them come out of the water. The last few days have been making me think of this time. It doesn't take much for the disgusting creatures of the river's bottom to come out of hiding. We saw them in the last few days saying things like ...
Yeah, isn't this crazy talk? This is some crazy shit.
Just talking about all the people talking about him talking about murdering Mama JF. Maybe he didn't murder her, but I have no evidence, but I just think he's lying. What we have seen play in front of us is the exact reason why our societies have opted for due process in the first place. People are just too stupid to process evidence. We have no public epistemological process. It's amazing for me to sift through the bad defamatory content emerging around me. I see elementary mistakes of facts that are already resolved in uncontroversial, irrational conclusions, fallacious thought processes. The fishing has been successful. It revealed a giant monster under the sand.
If you thinking watching DP is fine without donating, that's just like, your opinion, bud.
That's your opinion,
That's your
bud.
opinion, bud.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, we're gonna watch JF's recent interview he did a few nights ago. He did it on the Dick Show with Dick Masterson. It's something else. So we'll get to that in just a minute. Just want to make sure that those of you out there know that this month's sticker that's going to be coming out to all those Patreons that are at the $33.33 level and above, it's going to be the Zebra Effect. If you sign up at any point between now and the end of the month of October, you will be receiving a Zebra Effect sticker like this. And the August stickers just went out today, and in about a week, I'm going to send out the September stickers to get all caught up. And then I'm going to do it at the beginning of every month here. So make sure you sign up before the end of this month to get you a Zebra Effect sticker. People will be like, what, is that a band? And you can be like, even better. It's the Zebra Effect.
That's better than your opinion, bud.
Yes.
Now, JF's little statement there was suggesting that people aren't allowed to speculate.
We're lampreys.
Yeah, we're lampreys. You can speculate all you want, dude. You look suspicious. You're gonna raise suspicion whether or not you're proven guilty. Maybe you're not guilty. Maybe you not being guilty is maybe it's a great disjustice to you that people think you look guilty. Doesn't matter. People are allowed their fucking opinion, and you sure do draw the opinion of others. You can't have these crazy stances on things. You can't make these psychotic statements about a woman that you were indoctrinating and then just expect us not to talk about it.
Let's maybe this will change your mind though. Here's his interview on the Dick Show with Dick Masterson and his co-host Sean.
Let me see if old JF is here. Lifeboat. Oh, there he is. That's all. It always happens.
Hey,
huh? There he was. There he was
yeah.
for a second.
Yeah.
He's got his Clipaverse sticker on his boom mic stand.
Got a little hiccup.
Hello.
Hello, JF.
Hello? At first, it sounded like Jeff Holiday doing the JF impersonation. Hello.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. What an arc of my life that I didn't expect.
Oh man, I envy you. I've been wanting to kill my wife for years, even before I met her. That was always a dream of mine. Can you bump him up, please?
Women dream about the wedding day.
I dream about the day that I'm
getting away with it.
Hauled off in cuffs. No,
Right.
no, I want people to know that I did it. I want women to know that I did it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, do you want to catch people up on what's happened to you? I'm sorry for laughing, but it's sad.
Yeah,
it's sad, but it's also a lot of it's funny to me. Or
It's
ironic,
quite funny, yes. Well, I've always been dating troubled women and who do crazy stuff, and it always falls onto me to be responsible for what they do, because our society cannot process the idea that within the cranium of a woman there are processes that happen which could be called decision making. That doesn't exist. There is no such thing.
So is he saying he's cracked open a woman's cranium and looked inside for these processes?
I hope he means like metaphorically.
I think he's saying that women don't have the ability to make decisions, but the way he said it means he peered into the head of a woman, a cranium. Like
The woman is a robot. It's like a Tamagotchi, and if the Tamagotchi dies, it's your fault. It cannot be from within.
So your wife left your house a long time ago. She said, "I'm out."
Like how long?
In June, right?
Yeah. Yes, June.
She decided that she just needs to go wander. Like she needs to go on a long walk, right?
Did she
went out
say
for
anything?
cigarettes.
She's always been a drifter before I knew her. So she's done that all of her adult life. Most of her adult life, her own parents, her best friends didn't know where she was. She was always in a new country, always traveling, always passing from one border to the other. And suddenly this girl enters in my life and she lives a trad lifestyle with Papa JF for 5 years, which I think is commendable. I mean, that she was able to kind of leave her drifter lifestyle. But at the same time, I'm like,
she already had a man. She had the open road. She had the open road and JF took her away.
He's saying that she, was a drifter, but she would show up places. Like prior to being with JF, she showed up in security cam footage. She showed up in
No. That was when she was with JF.
Oh, that was when she was with him?
Yeah, her doing the graffiti? Hell yeah, it was.
Oh,
yes.
I thought it was before.
No.
Well, she showed up in the naked bike ride footage.
That's total drifter shit right there. That's not helping the case.
She showed up in advertisements for the school she went to. Like she was like modeling pictures for the school she went to.
I think that's
like
when she was
or something.
I think that's when she was with JF at that point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, I have touched an object of the universe. I have affected its state. I understand that at some point the physical universe bounces back, and that there would be one day where she would just go back to her old lifestyle. She decided that day was June, so she leaves my home.
June is just one day now?
Man, I'm all good, I'm just a dropper. I'm a dropper husband.
Yeah.
I will drop you wherever you want, and I dropped her exactly where she asked me to drop her.
He just said women can't.
Said the ocean.
The ocean. He just said women can't make their own choices and process things with their brain. Yeah, he's saying he just dropped her in the middle of the fucking forest.
And then Sean was like, the ocean.
Yeah. This is not how you raise a Tamagotchi.
Yeah, Tamagotchis are not waterproof. You drop one of those fuckers in the ocean, it's not going to work anymore. Those were very popular in the late 90s when I was in high school.
I mean, this is a fantasy that I've had. Can you just drop me off somewhere else? You got it. 5 years is about the end of a relation. I mean, then it starts to repeat after that.
Yeah.
They should all be ended after 5 years.
Yeah, mandatory.
Right. Now, wait,
and you mentioned
what
the
country are you in?
ocean. Technically, it was a few meters away from the ocean. So she was still on land at the moment I dropped her.
Uh-huh.
And I did so in front of cameras because Dick Masterson, what the modern world is. If you don't have a camera, as you do every single move of your life, they will suspect you of murder within whatever second you're not being filmed.
So the way you're talking about it, even now, it makes it sound like murder.
What do you mean it sounds like murder?
Like the way you're saying I dropped her off in front of a camera.
She technically was on land at the time.
She was very close to the ocean, though. That's the last time I saw her. But you're right. Like you're right to do that. I listened to you on a very short interview you had last night where this girl was pretending to be Nancy Drew, and she was trying to bust you on stuff.
Yeah.
JF was talking about dropping his wife off near a gas station, and she's like, well, did you get gas? Is there a receipt that pays you?
It's like,
and he's like, oh, what the fuck are you talking about?
Not everything is a clue.
Yeah, exactly. Women are terrible investigators because they think that questioning every detail is a productive means. She was questioning details that the police has already asserted as absolutely true. She was so behind the track in her questioning. But I mean, what is there to expect,
The police aren't going to tell him their true feelings on what they think is true. They're going to build his confidence that they agree with him on things, so he tells them more.
Yeah, and then they do the Columbo. Just one more question.
Yeah. He's over here getting Columbo, doesn't even know it. Fuck.
I've not evolved to think or to relate to reality. As it turns out, when your main job in life is to prepare a spaghetti sauce, it's not that dramatic. if you put Oregon instead of time.
Yes, it's for real.
Did he call oregano Oregon?
I think so. Yeah.
That makes me more angry than anything else he's ever said.
Oh, this for real? This sounds like this accent sounds like an amazing character to me.
No, he's called in multiple times before. JF has called in.
No, I remember. Oh my God. Where are you?
Fat
Where
Tony
are you?
42 says, Billy, you know that police are always correct, LOL. I mean, they could be dumb police, but the fact that they're investigators makes me think they're a little smarter than the beat cops are.
Can you say?
Well,
in the world.
Can you shut the fuck up for 1 second?
No.
And not try to dox me here. I mean, I have people wanting to kill me because I have multiple cycles of my marketing strategy that there are still people wanting to kill me from 2 years ago, from 3 years ago, from 7 years ago.
Really?
You think I'm going to tell you where I am?
I mean,
I think Sean could slap the shit out of JF, and like JF would not be able to do anything about it. Just a hunch.
A portion of the world.
Portion of the world.
I mean, yeah, what part?
North Hemisphere.
What part? Oh, okay.
North Hemisphere,
Canada.
because the whole rest of the planet is covered in shit.
Great.
So I know a lot of your wife is into like I've heard her speak a little bit on the subject, but it sounds like she's very into like music festivals and like hippie.
Sounds like she might be,
style and like not being tied to anything and being off the grid and stuff like that. Is that accurate?
Exactly. Absolutely. She's been in those parties. She calls them parties.
Yeah.
But they are places of degeneracy
Yeah,
that I do
JF
not
suggests that she might be at Woodstock. I think that's him mispronouncing wood chipper.
approve.
Yes, I'm in those scenes. I know a lot of women in those scenes, and they do this.
They are trouble.
Not some of them. All of them will just like kind of disappear. If they're done with a relationship, they're just out. They're gonna go live on the other side. They'll go live on some compound, and just that's like they just need like a total reset in their brains.
Yeah.
So when you described it, I was like, oh yeah, I know other guys this has happened to.
Well, they exist.
It's not
these
fun.
People. Yeah. So when do the cops or when are you suspected of anything?
Well, it was happiness for 4 months, and no one ever thought in the family of my wife, nor me, nor her parents and closed ones. No one. It never crossed their mind to call the police seriously, because that's just what Mama JF does. That's just her behavior.
Yeah. So they know.
I understand the normie mind. I was once like you guys, like not you, Dickmaster's son, but I was once like the people in the audience. Perhaps you are worried for your loved ones. You wouldn't be able to endure 2 days without them. I have been raped by life. I have been passed through amounts of suffering induced by crazy women that have totally annihilated any form of emotion inside of me. It has blackened a dark spot on my heart. And so at this point, yes, I'm capable to endure 3 months of female liberty. Sorry. I'm not the old me. Something bizarre happened.
You grew up. That's a second period.
I grew up.
A second puberty in men. It's their total purge of their emotion. Like I don't think of women in terms of a woman anymore. I just think of them in terms of numbers. They're all identical.
Exactly.
I saw a clip. This was a clip getting passed around where like we got him. This fucker is guilty because on a stream it would have been around the time your wife left or you murdered her. You talked about hiring a cleaning crew. / murder. When the leaving / murdering took place, you talked about hiring a cleaning crew to come into your house and that they sterilized it.
Okay.
Perhaps
I didn't hire a crew. I did clean my house because the imprint of a woman on a house is dramatic. It is dangerous for the pillars of the house, for the stability, for the cleanliness. And so I did arrange the house in my taste when my wife left me. Sorry. That doesn't make me a murderer.
But it was does just make it suspicious.
sterilized. They're all like, "Oh, see, he's sterilized
Yeah,
because of all the blood."
For a man that claims to be so controlling, how did you let this woman get your house so out of order? That doesn't add up either.
Being like a serial killer for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's my whole shtick. It's like, and
And that she had an electronic trace. I also heard you say that. So you were like, because her phone, I don't know, what's her electronic trace?
The thing is, I've been working on covering police stuff for about 10 years, seriously, and I go deep inside police questioning, investigation techniques. I go deep into mass shooter type of stuff, and I have the technical language. And so when people ask me, Jeff, will you be a murder suspect? I explain to them in technical police language, no. There is an electronic alibi available where she has left an electronic trace far from mine. That was too autistic for most people. People have read this sentence and said, that's further evidence that he did it. An electronic alibi is the simple fact that we are so traced in our life with everything we do on the internet that, I mean, personally, my life is on the internet. You can literally know exactly where I'm at, maybe 20 hours per day, and AI could tell you the next 4 hours where I am. So that is what I meant by an electronic alibi. I knew for sure that Mama Jeff was safe when she left me, that she was safe for at least 2 days after leaving me.
At least 2 days.
That she was on her way for traveling, for her travel plans.
Out of like almost 100 days.
And she was giving me signs that she was away from my home and alive. That makes me impossible to be a murderer.
Yeah. I've also noticed that. Well, you guys, you have kids, a kid or kids, or is that doxing? I read somewhere.
Well, I do not talk about this subject.
You don't talk about this subject?
I do not engage on this subject. No.
Okay, so the only reason I bring it up is because I've noticed that when people talk to you about this, they say, well, there's no way a woman would do this. And then their next step is, well, there's no way a woman would do this to kids. And then, well, there's something you must have done to drive her away. Like, it's like this endless, like, way of, like, well, you must have done something.
You're
Either
guilty of something.
You killed her, you meant, because there's no way a woman would just leave her family, right? And, fucking newsflash. Women go out for cigarettes, too.
Yeah, they do. I've seen it.
Women drop their babies in a box. There are literally boxes put up across the U.S. for women to practically drop their newborn into it.
No, we have mail There's like
they do have them.
Panels at fire stations.
They're like red box for babies.
In a dumpster.
Yeah, you can move like a bank deposit. Put the baby in and then shoves it in.
Yeah,
it's like a fucking mail, like a pizza. Like order up. Here you go. Like at a bank. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I mean, I had an audio problem here, but
Revolting Machine says boxes of babies. Sorry, but this is not a normal thing. It's actually very normal. Look for baby drop-off stations. You probably have one very close to you that you didn't know about.
You have two buttons. Either there are boxes for women to drop their newborn, or women never leave their babies. Both options aren't available. Decide what society we're in.
Yeah. They do exist. Do you know if she's coming back? Do you want her to come back?
I do not know if she's coming back, and as a libertarian, I have no say on, I am neutral on whatever she wants to come back or not.
As a libertarian, I only care that Riley does not put stickers on my building.
There's only 4 states that have official baby drop boxes. Indiana has the most. It has 47 of them.
What the fuck?
And then Arizona has 6, Ohio has 3, and Arkansas has 1.
There's only 4?
4 states.
Huh. That's interesting.
Unless this is an old article. It's on consideringadoption.com.
She knows exactly the conditions of life with me. It's very relaxed conditions of life. I don't have much demands. I demand monogamy. I demand fidelity, loyalty, and non-physical attacks or non-physical destructions. Those are the terms of my life. And she can come back to it any point, except if I have found another woman. If I'm with
on
another woman,
Safe
I cannot
Haven
take
Baby Box's website, shbb.org, and they have locations for a baby drawer or a baby box near you. They have them in Arkansas, Florida, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, New Mexico, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, Tennessee, North Carolina, Missouri, and Mississippi on this website. So they might have more. And it's interesting, all these blue states that are pro Planned Parenthood, they don't have baby drop boxes. What's going on there?
her back.
She's on a clock. She's on a.
And let me tell you, I have experienced for 1 week the killer's bounty. That is the phenomenon, the psychological phenomenon by which females are more attracted to you when you are suspected of the murder of your wife.
So he's saying he's gonna. A bunch of ladies are gonna come after him right now because it's a phenomenon where women are attracted to him because of him being accused of being a murderer.
Yeah, true crime equals lady boners.
Holy shit, it is there. It exists. The killer's bounty is real.
What have women emailed you?
The killer's bounty is real.
They have? What do they say?
I mean, it's incredible. Within a single sentence, they tell you that they're single, that they're ready for insemination. That I used to be at insemination within the first year. And as I moved into e-celeb territory, I was at insemination on the first day. At this point, I've reached insemination on the first sentence.
Is that your goal?
For JF's sake, I hope he didn't leave her in a very low-depth grave.
I hope he didn't leave her in a grave and that she's still alive somewhere.
Inseminating as fast, as quickly as possible?
It is not my goal. I'm just a family guy who wanted a large family with a single woman, but the world didn't want to give it to me. And so I'm on a quest of vengeance. And I spray and pray until I get my vengeance.
This is disgusting talk.
So the murdering reputation is working in your favor now.
Absolutely. And so I was like, okay, this is hardcore. I've already built a CV of being one of the greatest assholes in the world. That is fun. It's jokes on the internet, invectives, racist, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, this is the next level. OJ style, just murder.
You're the French OJ,
and so I was
the
like,
French-Canadian OJ. I wanted somebody to Photoshop me and you in a white Bronco before you called in. So
my philosophy is you deal with the hands that you're given. And I've been given the hand of possible murderer. I'm going to have to play it, you know.
You got to tell her you deal. I deal with the hands that life gave me, and you deal with these hands, right? See how it goes for you. Do you think he did it? Do you think he killed his wife, Sean? Hearing him talk about it.
He's like, what?
I fucking no idea. I have no idea. If any of this is on the level.
I'm kind of hoping he did, and he gets away with it, right? Which I would gladly help. You know?
Sure.
That's the racism thing is funny because you've always been hit with being a huge racist.
Now in our chat, the Mad Clown says, "Dude has a pregnancy fetish." I think he has this idea of an unconditional love that he's been lacking his entire life, and if he brings a child into this world and he's able to indoctrinate it from the beginning, that child will love him back in a way that a woman he's only known for 5, 6, 7 years could allow him to fully control. He has a base beginning to genetically raise somebody and indoctrinate them the way that all these other religions had an 80% success rate. I think it's really just about his lack of inadequacy and self-confidence and putting that love into somebody so young that they won't be able to break, because he keeps loving all these people that get ripped away from him because they realize that he's not the man they fell in love with.
IQ. Flatly, like racial IQ.
Not supposed to do that.
Yeah, that's illegal. But now you have definitely upgraded because now you have the murderer stigma and label.
Constantly reinventing himself.
They will never let that drop. These girls, I mean, even if your wife shows
years
up
from now,
go ahead. Even if your wife comes back, they're gonna go, well, he still murdered her somehow. I don't know how. Maybe that's a clone or something.
He killed her emotionally.
Yeah.
That is exactly what they will say. So I have accepted already that for the next 30 years of my life, I'm just a murderer in the mind of some losers.
And is your wife sitting out there? Like, does she monitor? Is Mama JF sitting out there monitoring this and going like, haha, gotcha? Like, because she could dispel it easily.
She explicitly told me, the last thing she told me is she's going off grid, essentially. She didn't say it in these words, but essentially she said, I'm disappearing without any electronic tracing of any kind. Because I knew that
she did not say electronic tracing. She did not say that. She did not say she's disappearing without any electronic tracing. That's his words.
Everything electronic behind her except her cell phone. And 2 days after I dropped her, she says, you're not going to be able to reach me in 24 hours from now. I'm dropping my cell phone behind. So she is on a trip of survivalism, absolutely independent from the system, off grid, total 007 style.
And that doesn't.
He keeps saying 007. It's 007.
I hope Dick calls him out on that.
He won't.
Seem that far fetched to me. Like they do that. People do that. People do that. It's
and if a guy did it though, he would be like a deadbeat. Like everybody would pile on him and say you're a piece of shit. Like how could you abandon your family? But when a woman does it,
she must be murdered.
You must have murdered her.
Yeah, she must be murdered because nobody would. Yeah.
You must have murdered her and then went online talking about sanitizing your house and posting like a bunch of ribs that you just cooked.
Right.
That's reasonable, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a nice tweet that I did, photographing the whole bone structure of a cow that we had slaughtered.
So, when did you think this would happen in your life? Like when you got together with Mama JF, was it something you saw come? Because you're a smart guy. Like this seems like a nightmare to deal with. Did you know this was in the cards and you just didn't care? Or?
Unfortunately, I know. Unfortunately, I have the brain to calculate these things, and so I know just how much these girls will hurt me, just by being chaotic and uncontrollable. But you have to have your dick in a vagina. That is just the fundamental principle of life, and the rest we're gonna deal with it as it comes to us.
Get better vagina, you fucking loser.
It's like. What's his name? The pitcher, Eastbound and Down, Kenny Powers. But with a French accent.
You got to have your dick in a vagina.
What? Dick in a vagina. Sounds more sophisticated. Do you want to talk about? I don't know if any of this is true, but I always see clips of like you going to court for getting custody of some of these women. I always see strange legal postings of stuff you're doing to get some of these women, and I never know what it is or who they're talking about. But is any of that interesting? Do you want to talk about any of that?
Well, I mean, the thing is, people misrepresent this story so much. They say I exploited a mentally ill girl, which is absolutely incorrect. There was an adult woman, 19-year-old. Mm-hmm. She was a big fan of my rap career because, long story, but I had a rap career before.
What?
And
really?
She was.
I gotta look this up.
I mean, I have my rap against G-Man.
I knew it. I knew that's. So she saw him on DP. Where he rap battled G-Man, and that's what he's talking about.
I thought he was going to talk about a rap career, like that we didn't know about, like he'd released music, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds terrible." He brought up the fucking G-Man rap battle.
Yep.
A freestyle battle has done like 200,000 views.
I didn't know that.
You can check up the JF rap on Drunken Peasants. Anyway, she was a big fan of my rap song. And so she contacted me, wanted to start a family, didn't like her father. Yeah. So, okay, I'm like, we talk on the phone for a couple of months. And then I say, let's live together. So we were fiancé in the sense that I had promised her that, we're going to marry ourselves and I'll take care of you.
You're going to marry yourself?
Forever. And so we start living together for 3 weeks. And her father always disagreed with her coming to my home and living with me. And it was like,
And the
JF,
state
you
of
have
Texas
to stop
deemed
her.
her fully retarded based alone on the fact she was a Drunken Peasants fan?
You don't. Before she came to me, before I saw her, he told me, Jeff, you have to stop this relationship. You have no idea how ugly my daughter is. Like you've never seen her. You only
Buddy,
spoke on the
I'm doing you a favor. Look, man, she's fucking busted. You don't want
It's
this.
figuratively. Yeah.
And he was literally telling me, like,
genius.
my daughter is retarded. You don't want to be with her. And this absolute beauty of a female arrives at my home. A 10 out of 10, absolutely like to fall on the ground where your heart melts when you see her. And I was like, this little fucker.
A woman you really want to kill. You would really stick it to her, right?
And so I'm like, okay, who owns this woman? Herself or her father?
Yeah.
And I do the computation. I look at the Constitution. Well, it does seem that she is entitled by constitutional rights to suck my dick. And so I tell
Well.
Tip train!
I told her father to fuck himself, and I took her in.
That really doesn't go well. I've seen guys doing that. And
This
Ralph
isn't Mama
did
JF
that.
who's talking about. Everybody listening right now, this is someone different than Mama JF.
Yeah.
That didn't work out well for him.
I have a French accent. I did it very politely. I
Okay.
didn't say go fuck yourself. I said technically she is entitled to make her decisions. Bye-bye. So he was frustrated by this, and he wanted to capture her basically, but she was an adult woman. So what did he do? He made a ex parte order finding her to be mentally incapable of consenting to sex in Texas while she was living with me in North Carolina. He sent a private bodyguard along.
She's 19.
Yes, she.
He
did.
So he got
19.
a court to declare her like
unfit to make
retarded.
decisions for herself, basically.
Retarded in her absence. And we're talking about a woman who was studying at the university. Not a retarded woman at all. In fact, a very high IQ woman.
No.
You can't say very high IQ now.
You literally said that she had a very low IQ, and you called her
That's a
retarded
quote.
too.
Yeah, you literally called her the R word. JF, you little liar. Now I'm starting to question if JF did murder Mama JF.
She is still as of today, she is one of the most intelligent women I've met.
So that's why everyone
But he
says
did
you
that in her
tried to
back.
abduct a retarded woman because she was living with you, and the dad said
She's retarded.
She's retarded, and the court said, well, you can't possibly prove that a woman is retarded or not. So
No, the
sure.
court did prove it.
Yeah, she's
And
retarded.
especially not in her absence, and especially not in the way it was done, ex parte. But somehow the laws of Texas are just like most laws of most states. They are absolutely ridiculous on this point.
Yeah.
This is used for people like Britney Spears to kidnap young women,
Yeah.
and mostly to stop them from reproducing, essentially. Because it's always a subject. When it's a young woman, it's about her desire to have babies. And she had the desire to have babies with me. She would have had a great genetic
That's what it always
bounty.
boils down to.
Yeah, literally, this is what JF thinks is a 10 out of 10. If she will allow him to put his cum in her. That's all. That's his line.
Does she want
This
to
woman-
have babies?
This woman, from his own words, was low IQ retard, but he's calling her now a 10 out of 10 because she allowed him to put cum in her. I'm sorry. Actual 10 out of 10s are out there waiting for cum, just not yours, Papa.
Getting a Chad billionaire of crypto like me, but too bad. So he sent a private bodyguard to attack me at my home, kidnap her, and bring her against her will in Texas. She was physically beating to not be captured that way. And I was stuck in a situation where I don't have guns. I'm an immigrant in the U.S. I can't shoot the guy. I can't do anything.
Wow.
And it's like, and I even complained to the police, like, this is an illegal home invasion, physical assault on me. I had I had injuries onto me, and the police didn't care about
they
it
don't
because,
give a shit.
well, there was an ex parte order. Well, an ex parte order doesn't give you the right to kidnap an adult. What the fuck are they saying? So, anyways, I find myself, I went to Texas, drove to Texas, tried to explain to the judge that what he was doing was evil and that he should stop. And that she should be free to do whatever she
It's
wants.
like the Iliad
But
happening right here. JF's driving to Texas to get the Helen.
yeah,
Troy
absolutely.
back.
Drove. I mean, it was a long drive from North Carolina to Texas, and the judge didn't want to hear anything. He just shut me down and said, "You don't have the right to speak here." And I was like, "Hey, sir, this is a case about me. My name is right there on your order."
So the judge said, "Yeah, she's retarded. Get out of here." That's it.
He wasn't swayed by your accent.
The judge said, "You're not a family member of hers." And I was like, I'm her fiance. And he was like, "Well, you can't be her fiance because here's her father. And he says she doesn't have a fiance." So she wasn't even there, even at the second hearing. I mean, they were detaining her against her will and deceiving her into thinking that there was no legal case against her. So basically, we have a bunch of violent people who have partnered with the strong arm of the state to steal women from us, and that should be eliminated. But that's another story.
What is
a little less grave.
What is the deal with like these dads that are, I don't want to say protective, but they seem like overly possessive of their daughter's sexuality and reproductivity. I noticed it with Ralph, the dads of his baby mamas, and I mean, I don't want to talk about the guy's private stuff for everyone, but he's just dealing with a lot, and it's like these dads just will not fuck off. And I see it. I've seen it with other people too, like exactly what you're describing. What is the deal with that?
Oh, damn.
CWV. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. Oh, and by the way, we're going to do a post show tonight for all of the $10 plus patrons and all of the YouTube sponsors that are at the top level of YouTube sponsorship. And the subscribe stars that are $10 and above. We're doing a post show, and the topic of that post show you guys are going to vote on later on in the show, and we'll get to that.
Well, the problem is we are in an evolutionary transition. Female decision-making hasn't been a thing for 7 million years. And a bunch of liberals have decided, let's act as if it was always that way and females can always do their decisions. The reality is females have always been constrained by violence, money, and all sorts of considerations to basically be pushed into the arms of a man and basically to protect themselves either from the
decision making was made by a tribal leader before all of this, and the men just followed step with what the tribal leader told them to do. They were part of a fucking very tight existence that allowed for groups of human beings with spears to live beyond lions, tigers, and bears. That's the reality that you want to talk about. Not this fucking men made all of the choices. Somebody in power made the fucking choices. They followed too. I don't just think men are these great decision makers. They know when to step back and just listen to the fucking the tribal chief or die.
Climate or from the lack of food, they always were pushed by circumstance or by other people. And I think we're in a species that leaves a lot of control on the parent, even in older age when the female starts being reproductive, because the social network around the act of reproduction in humans matter a lot. It matters about alliances. It matters whether you're going to get inheritance in the inheritance structure of the tribe, either inheritance of power or money. So it mattered a lot in our history that fathers controlled who they were giving their daughters to. And I think that that's why we have difficulty really stepping into the liberalism that we claim to have.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's causing a lot of problems for people.
Yes.
Women?
Well, for guys who are getting their wives yanked away from them.
Sure. Isn't that doing them a favor?
Yeah, they're doing it. That's true. I guess. Then you got to start over, find a new wife.
You know.
Big pain in the ass.
Imagine if the bar was just a woman allowing you to inseminate them. That's the bar of what you think a 10 out of 10 is if they will let you come in them. That's so pathetic. JF is so pathetic.
How would you, if I wanted to kill my wife, what would be a good way that I could do it, do you think? And get away with it?
If I did it.
Yeah, if I did it.
Very OJ. Very OJ.
I'm surprised that the clips haven't come out yet, but I have extended descriptions of how to kill someone while not being caught. I think I just made too many shows in my life, and that the leftists have difficulties actually browsing through my whole history. But yeah, what I explained in the Brian Koberger story, you remember Brian Koberger, this guy who was a criminology student, went into a fraternity kind of house of college student and killed the ladies that were in there, and there was one man also. And he seemed to think he could get away with it.
Yeah.
And this idiot turned his cell phone after starting to drive toward the home. Like, he drove 10 minutes toward the home he was going to commit a murder, then turned off his cell phone halfway on the road. That is the first stupid thing.
Why don't you just leave your cell phone at home?
Then
right. That's probably a good idea.
No, what I explained in this show is that modern murder cannot be executed if you don't have a full electronic alibi. This means it's not enough to leave your cell phone at home. They will detect this. You would need, if you wanted to escape the police, you would need a simulation of your hand clicking on the phone. So you need a little robot that makes these movements as you would do them, or you need some macro recorder. So you have an electronic alibi.
Okay.
That is the modern standard.
What if I send my phone on an Uber and I put it in the Uber and then send it away somewhere else, like the opposite direction?
It's very.
And then there's the eyewitness of an Uber driver that.
Well, yeah. Also, the fact that there's an electronic trace that you ordered the Uber, you left the phone in. But also, you could just drop it in the back of a fucking dump truck at a gas station. You could drop it in the garbage bin at a gas station. The garbage truck will come pick it up. You know what time the garbage is picked up in that area. You know you have an hour or two until the phone gets picked up. You say she hung around there for a couple hours and left. You can put it in the back of a truck at the gas pump, and a random truck just drive it. You put it on the back of a fucking semi truck or something, and it will just go off in a direction. You'll say, "Yeah, no, she traveled. She must have hitchhiked with a trucker."
Easy to know that the difference between a human who carries a phone and he's going to click on all sorts of things. It's going to generate socket connections to Gmail, to Maps. And just a cell phone hanging like this is not enough.
Okay, so I could like record me doing my phone for a whole day, and then set up some kind of a thing on the phone to replicate that while I'm out doing the murders.
What if they find the software
it's a macro
doing that?
And then I would take my girlfriend's phone
describing it
and set it somewhere, and like have it do. I would have to put some kind of long-term charger on it, right, and send it out so it's always active and pinging.
Right.
Away from the murdering area.
The second principle of good murder is absolutely expressed in Dexter. If there is no crime scene, it is so much harder. And so there needs to be a complete elimination of even the ID that a murder has happened.
How would you do that?
Dexter was doing it. Well, Dexter was doing it with wrapped plastics, and he was throwing it all in at the bottom of the ocean.
Okay.
But there needs to be no spot where the bodies are found.
Yeah.
That'd be tough, I guess.
This guy literally had his wrapped plastic Dexter-looking room that he was showing off doing renovations of his home. He looked like fucking Walter White in the meth suit inside of Dexter's lab. He's got a whole video of him doing these renovations. It looks like a kill room with Walter White inside for the sterilization. And even with all that, like, you don't need to bury bodies in the sea. There's other ways to process a body where it's not going to be found. It's very interesting. He's not talking about that, and he's giving a more pedantic level of hiding a body.
Over a swimming pool or something? I don't want to do all that plastic stuff. That's a lot of work. That's basically like decorating for Halloween, and that's probably why I'm going to kill her. It's forcing me to decorate for Halloween. So
Plastic looks good when you're at Home Depot and it's right there and you grab the cylinder. But when you unfold it, it gets in your running shoes and it's really impractical.
King Cobras has his dick as a known troll. I think they're fucking with him, but I'm not 100%. He is fucking with him, but he's doing it in a way where JF's not going to pick up on it. He's playing both sides very well, and it's great because he's going to have both sides of the audience here. He's playing to the entire audience instead of just one half like a lot of people have to do.
Those are good tips. Okay. Well, what's next for you now that you've
how do you top this?
How do you top this one? Yeah, are you going to fund Hezbollah or something? Are you going to join Hamas?
Well, actually, I am a major suspect on the internet right now for the attacks by the Palestinian Hamas against Israel. People have developed a conspiracy theory that I launched the attacks in Israel to escape the mediatic attention for my suspicion of murder.
Yeah, I believe that. You were heating up. I was in a big fight with Null, and then Palestine attacked Israel. I'm like, oh, well, all this is done. Yeah, fuck. Yeah.
Do we know how to get a hold of the girl that JF was consensually obligated not to date in the state of Texas?
I have no idea.
She used to be a DP fan. I wonder where she's at now. If she
no idea.
On whether or not JF is a killer. If you're watching, give us a message. Let us know.
When Israel's done wiping out Gaza, we got to restart all these beefs again and get people interested again. I hope that Mama JF comes back. I hope she finds what she's looking for.
I'm super confident that she's alive. She's been doing it before. And even if something happens,
I'm super confident that she's alive.
I don't know. She gets attacked by a bear. Ultimately, Mama JF has taken risks in her life. She got lucky for most of her life. I expect her to still be lucky. But I know that whether she's dead or alive, she's free.
Are you saying that you coated her in honey before you dropped her off? She was attacked by
Winnie the Pooh. Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh.
That is another strategy. The best murders are those you don't have to commit.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I love that everyone's telling you everyone's like freaking out on Jeff, you have to stop talking. Stop talking. You're incriminating yourself. You're incriminating yourself. Don't you know what you're doing? It's like, guys, what are you talking? This is not how police work is done. Does it worry you at all that you'll get got for being innocent? Like innocent guys do go to prison. Does that worry you at all?
No, the reason I'm allowing myself some comedy is that I know first that my alibis are super solid, and I've seen the work of the policemen. They've updated me every day on this, and they were knocking at my door every day also. And I've seen their work. It's absolutely top of the world type of tracking and work. So I know that these guys know exactly what I'm doing. They know what kind of guy I am. They actually, They looked me up. They Googled me, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we Googled you," and so they know exactly what's happening, and they are very good at what they do.
That's exactly what I was going to say. What he just said. He's talking like a guy who knows that there's no way he could have done it. The people who are important know that he didn't do it, so he's fucking around.
Yeah. You got just the clip of him talking to this girl last night, where she's like a law student.
Yeah.
So she's trying to grill him on. What did she say? Prima facie. You said, and she said she didn't know what that meant, and then you called her stupid and hung up.
She accused me of having no food in my fridge because I made a little joke in my previous.
Well, women hate that. Women hate not having rotting food in the fridge. That'll really piss them off.
Look, I'm not happy with having an empty fridge either. It's not a woman thing, okay? It's a fucking fat person thing.
First time in my life, my wife has disappeared, so I have the peace of mind of controlling my fridge for the first time in my adult life. And this fucking bitch of the internet decides that she has an opinion on my fridge? Are you going to leave us alone one day? I mean, I'm starting to believe the MGTOWs were right.
Yeah, that we should just go do our own thing.
The MGTOWs.
MGTOWs, men going their own way.
Yeah. You just don't watch female YouTube channels. You totally withdraw from the system.
Yeah. Well, I hope she comes back. I hope you didn't kill her. I don't know.
No.
I guess we don't.
I'm sure that she's alive, and I'm sure that she's happy and free.
I know what you're
know
going
her.
through would be stressful, like a woman, someone you love leaving.
He
so
sounds relaxed.
It is stressful.
Yeah.
He sounds
I
relaxed.
sound relaxed, but it is stressful. But what people don't understand is I was stressed 3 months, 4 months before you guys. Everything you guys are learning in the last 3 days, I've known it for 3 or 4 months. So my stress has been past. There are grief periods that you have, not necessarily the grief of knowing that she's dead, but the grief of having control over your wife, the grief of, you're going to have to keep living without...
He misses that sweet control.
I've gone through all these grief periods.
That
You guys are like
insemination.
jumping on some fresh honey that you think is new, but that I had the emotions 4 months ago, that I couldn't talk about it publicly.
Yeah. And you are kind of lucky that she didn't like Gone Girl you or like fuck you over in some way.
People talk to me about Gone Girl, but I have no idea what that is. It's a movie about what happens.
The girl leaves her husband, and when she leaves, she also frames him for her murder. Like she did all this stuff secretly to make it look like he murdered her, even though she's just off living her life.
I'm so scared of this in the future with genetic test. I mean, with genetic tests, you could remake a DNA sample of me from just my 23andMe account, and you could spread it all over a murder scene. It's insane. So I'm so paranoid about this. I have 24/7 tracking of myself and filming of myself.
Yeah.
There's literally a camera above me while I sleep.
What?
Really?
That's
nothing to
fucking
chance.
weird.
So I want
I
to.
leave nothing.
I want to get a camera. I've been threatening my girlfriend with this for a long time. That I'm going to set up a
Sleep
camera.
cam? Yeah.
Yeah, so I can track who is hogging the bed. So I can put it on the camera.
Yep.
And hammer her with it.
Yes.
In the morning. But then I'm worried I'll see ghosts.
That's another evolutionary.
I'm worried I'll see ghosts.
What kind of hammer do you use?
A hammer? To kill
you
her?
said a hammer her?
Metaphorically, I'm going to hammer her.
Okay.
Ball
With
peen.
a ball peen, a sledgehammer for her.
Shot peen. Yeah.
I thought you had recommendations of types of hammer and everything, but it was a metaphor. Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant to really hammer a woman in the head.
Yeah.
That's a little joke I make when I'm being accused of murder.
Does anything make you enraged? Does anything really piss you off? Is it the
I am enraged.
Go ahead.
I am enraged from the beginning of my adult life. I've been enraged at the stupidity of human beings, and I still am.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It doesn't get better, unfortunately.
No.
You get more disappointed.
These chicks are all like, they watch like true crime podcasts all day, and they're like, oh, here we go. I'm in the middle of it now. This motherfucker. It's like, no, he's actually going through a really like sad thing that happens to a lot of guys and women. Stop harassing him.
What you described there is dehumanization of the man. And
Yes.
it's the default mode of psychological interaction with men in our society, and it needs to stop. It's like, yeah, we have our little edgy comments, we have our little facade, but please understand everyone is a human being behind, and we have all of the normal human emotions, and sometimes we're just playing with you guys because you're so stupid, you fall for everything we throw at you.
Yeah, agreed. Have a good Sunday, man. Thank you for calling in.
Bye-bye.
Have a good break from the internet. Oh, we go. There he is. There he goes.
What a character.
That fucking murderer
Yeah.
who obviously killed his wife.
Yeah.
That was a good interview.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure he did it now.
let us know
Before I was 100% convinced he did it. Now I'm just pretty sure.
Let us know what you think about it. Send us some Tip Train Donos. Link is pinned in the chat. $5 TTS. I will be right back in just a moment here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. The moment you've all been waiting for. Big Face Billy. Ask your questions, get your answers. Do it now. Bridal Cube says he did it 100%. Yeah, probably. Mr. Driscoll says, Billy, you beautiful. It's true. It's true. Swagnar says, I already gave my thoughts, but my dono didn't go through. Let me check and see if I can find your dono, Swagnar. Let's see. Your dono says, Billy, you fat pig, I'll piss on you, die. Yeah, I don't know why that one didn't come through. I know you said, Swagnar, even if JF didn't murder her, he's a grotesque homunculus who deserves nothing but misery for every lucid second he has left within this mortal coil. Also, Ben, I just took a shot of Jaeger. Join me. It's a good dono. I wonder why it didn't come through. Oh. Do they have the electric chair in Canada? They have what they call the fucking maple anal slide. It's worse than the electric chair. It's an oozing maple tree with a wooden spike at the bottom. And they put you on it and make you slide down the sticky fucking base of the tree until the spike impales your anus. Nasty. Anthony told us, I literally look up to you, Billy. Oh, I'm proud to be role model. Chesh says, Billy, I drew you today. It's in the Discord. Are you talking about that picture of me and Ben as boobs on a woman's chest? Because that was fantastic. Hypothesis says this would be JF's second Mordor, the first being G-Man in that rap battle, which he's still proud of. That was actually made me feel kind of bad that he still looks back fondly on that after we have been nothing but shit heels towards him when he blocked us for making fun of Mama JF, who may or may not be dead to this day. He blocked us, and then I think of him talking about Drunken Peasants now, and I'm like, he still has so much love for those memories, and we soured them by being naughty. And they told us, Billy, you're the best thing to happen to P. Wish you came here sooner. Yeah, if I would have came here sooner, I would have made more money. I came here in the fucking broke days of DP. Fuck. I should have been here when everybody was millionaires, eating caviar and traveling to Europe. Fuck. Mr. Driscoll says, should we suspect you for everything? If I'm not guilty of something, it's because I find it boring. He had 3 months to hide the body. It only takes a couple of days. I'm sure he had that thing processed within half a day. TGCS says, Billy will make a fine murderer. Will? King Cobra's hat says, Billy, I think you would be better at murdering than JF. I don't know. I think that he has one thing I don't have, and that is obsession. Obsession drives you. I don't have the obsession. I think if I murdered somebody, I would be able to set it up in a way that it looked like self-defense. And I would go to the police immediately without doing anything. And they would say, oh God, what happened? I'd be like, fuck. It was either me or them. I'm actually pretty sick about it. I'm trying to recall everything. I'll work with you to figure it all out, but I don't know. There's a lot going on in that moment, and still a little shaken up and just kind of happy it wasn't me down there on the pile of rocks, that cliff. I wub you too, revolting machine.
Let's peek our head into the Cobra verse and see what's going on.
Clee disappear. Clee disappear. Clee disappear. Clee disappear.
All right.
What up, YouTube? We're live on the channel, just hanging out. Happy weekend. It's already Friday. Where's the time going? I farted, excuse me. No need for a meat update. I've already given several of those today. There's nothing to update on. It's just sitting in the fermentation closet doing its thing.
The fermentation
Someone
closet.
sent me a Pizza Hut pizza earlier with barbecue sauce. And thank you for that.
King
I
Cobra
had two
tells it like it is.
He did through his butt and his mouth.
slices of it. I put the barbecue sauce on top. It was super delicious. But they gave me the pizza. It was paid for. They said the order was for some dude named Daniel. Not sure what you put on it, but I like it. Nothing too crazy going on tonight. Don't have any alcohol, so we're just going to hang out and stream with the fans. I might fix me a cup of Kratom because it is Friday.
Kratom Friday.
Staying up is Kratom in your cup.
It was Saturday.
I like making my own alcohol YouTube. It's a really fun hobby. And,
This might be how he kicks
it's
the
my own
bucket.
special way of cutting down on my drinking. Last year for the Christmas holiday, my drinking was pretty bad. I ended up in the drunk tank in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And I still felt like shit for that. But my family has forgiven me for that. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with having a drink, but, you know, cutting back on the drinking ain't exactly fun, but it's better for me in the long run. I'm hanging in there. I'm excited to see how the chocolate mead turns out.
Chocolate mead.
Oh, God.
It looks like
Oh, God.
poo-poo water.
I'm not going to grow magic
Yeah.
mushrooms. That's
Did not
illegal.
look good.
Watching from a funeral. Hi, Cobes. Sorry for your loss. Calling them paid pigs is going to get you banned from my channel. No, I'm not drinking tonight. I'm all right with that. There's nothing wrong. I'm just hanging out with chat. Hope you're all having an awesome Friday night.
It's Saturday. Everybody keeps
If you
saying
want to
it's
send
Saturday.
me cash, consider donating to Cash App or PayPal. I'll give you a shout out.
You know a man needs a drink when he's telling everybody to have an
You
awesome
don't gotta
Friday night
send
on
it, but
Saturday.
it's greatly appreciated. Do I use dating apps? No, I do not. I do not. I've never used dating apps. I did at one point, and I didn't get any results.
I thought he said he'd never. He's like, I never
I'm
used
sick
it.
of
Well, I did at
dating,
one
to
point.
be honest. Next month will be like the 6th year of haven't had a
Damn.
girlfriend, and it is what it is.
Coming up on the 6th
If I
year
get
of
some
his
money,
dry
I'm
spell.
gonna make another batch of mead. I want to try out that turbo yeast, but you don't have to donate to that.
Well, that was a happy little eyebrow raise. Uh-oh, who's there at the door?
Okay.
Is that grocery bag? Someone give him alcohol?
It just looks like a fast food
I don't
to
know
go
what the
bag.
fuck my trolls hope
Let's
to
see,
aim
what
at
is it?
accomplishing by sending me this shit.
I see some cat food,
Like it's now a
maybe?
game. Every time a Cobra goes live, we gotta send them stupid shits. What the fuck did they send me this time? That's too funny. They sent me a baby bottle because my trolls are overgrown toddlers. The fuck is this?
The beans?
Gravy train.
Dog food.
Okay,
Baby
so this
bottle
I
with
can
some
actually
dog food?
use as meat.
Oh, God, no.
Toothpaste.
Oh, no.
That's hilarious. They sent me condoms too and toothpaste. That's so dumb. These aren't even
It's
the
not that
right
dumb.
size. They're too small.
You might want to brush your teeth and get some sex with the condoms
Yeah, my
on.
trolls are fucking retarded.
They're too small.
Like, oh, we got Cobra. 1 Happy Meal hamburger, no mustard, extra salt, no ketchup, extra onions.
Yeah, it was a
shredded
McDonald's bag. That's what I thought it
lettuce,
was.
No regular meat. 1 apple slice. Ha. Yeah, they showed me. Oh, yeah. And you know what the saddest part about this whole thing is I don't gotta send my trolls dumb DoorDash orders to get inside their fucking head. I'm already fucking there, dude. It's hilarious.
Living rent-free in the place to be.
A bottle of water from Dasani. Cobra wins again. Every time the trolls send me DoorDash orders, I win. What they're doing is technically not illegal. It's just childish, immature harassment. Dasani, not a sponsor.
Harassment is illegal, actually.
He drank water and immediately coughed. His body isn't used to it.
Yeah.
And cat food.
He can't drink something that clear.
Because my trolls are douchebag pussies.
He's like,
this
this is
stream,
some
they
strong
sent me
stuff.
a baby
Where's the
bottle,
yeast?
and a bunch of other stupid shit. Because my trolls are overgrown toddlers who need to get a life. And I do. I live rent-free in my trolls' heads. Otherwise, you wouldn't care if Cobra goes live. You wouldn't have this compelling urge to
They
text
love
me
it
dumb
when you go
shit
live.
every fucking day. Oh, Cobra's
Honestly,
live. Better
these
send
obsessed trolls, you're probably the number one thing in their day, honestly. They probably look forward to you going live. Like, as much as they fuck with you, like, they're probably sad when you're not on.
They know if they tell him not to go live, he'll go live. They know this.
Good shit. You know, on the special instructions, my trolls on DoorDash are going to ignore the sign and knock as loud as you can, just so it interrupts the stream. And it's like they hope, against all hope, that Cobra will have an autistic freak out or get super depressed.
Knock as loud
on
as you
stream.
can.
And it's not even phasing me anymore. I'm so used to being bullied and harassed by people on the internet that this DoorDash crap is pretty tame in comparisons. I'm completely desensitized to it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I guess so. I didn't order it. Thank you.
Is it paid for?
That's funny because, like, usually it is paid for. Like, you have to pay before they even bring the food to you now.
Are you the prostitute I ordered? Well, it doesn't hurt to ask.
Damn.
That's another
More
McDonald's order.
McDonald's. Oh my God, you guys are so nice. Oh jeez. Ha! Another Happy Meal with no mustard, no ketchup. Add shredded lettuce. Add apple slice. 1 Pokemon.
1 Pokemon.
Nice.
Seriously cute of age female DoorDasher. Good lordy.
Well, there you go.
Like, what the fuck do they hope this will accomplish? Like, here you go, Cobra. Here's free food. More water? Oh, you guys are so awesome. Thank you. Like, oh, yeah, we show Cobra. Yeah, my trolls are
That's
definitely
cute.
fucking losers. Like, oh, yeah, we showed Cobra. Like, did you realize that that baby bottle's just going to get thrown away? So
he's
you
got Pizza
basically
Hut,
wasted
too?
your fucking
My
money to
man's
troll
is
Cobra.
grubbing.
It's sad, dude. But I don't let it get to me because, holy. I'm not sure what crust they use or what toppings they use, but it looks like they might have used some kind of bacon or, I don't know, beef. Seriously, fuck me, that DoorDash girl was cute. I wasn't going to try nothing because that's the first rule of picking up chicks is you don't try anything.
Like nothing?
Yeah, you don't try a
That way
thing.
if you get rejected,
literally
it
nothing?
doesn't hurt as much.
Honestly, it's
And
better
it doesn't
that
make
way.
you look like you're trying too hard. Like, oh yeah, you showed Cobra. If you want to send me,
If you don't
booze,
try to pick
donate
a
my
woman up,
Cash App or
you
Pay-
stand out immediately because most every guy is going to try and pick up a woman. It's pathetic.
Pal.
You don't try and pick her up. Then she's thinking, what's wrong with me?
I'll get some.
She's like, she comes back to you.
You don't gotta send me
Figure out
money,
what's
but
wrong
if you
with
do, it's appreciated. You know, I'm sick of dating because I haven't had a girlfriend in almost 6 years, but it is what it is. Keep waiting patiently and just doing my thing. There are plenty of chicks in the sea, fish in the sea, as they say.
There's plenty of
The
fish in
fans
the
sent this.
There's plenty of chicks in the sea, and we're not just talking about Mama JF covered in bricks.
So I'm not sure how much I'd have to use for a whole gallon. So I'm just gonna pour like a whole cup of yeast into some warm water and then like stir it
Swagnart
around.
says the rule is you don't hit on service workers. That's not true either. You hit on them in a way that is not creepy. You give them cheerful smiles, make their day better. It's a very subtle hit, but they know. And then in their head, they're like, I wonder if that guy is as sweet in regular life as he is when I'm bringing him Cinnabons.
That's what's up. 1 second.
Is it another Happy
I'm
Meal?
so desperate, dude.
My man's going to have so many fucking toys at the end of the night.
Can I help you? What is this? No, I didn't. My children sent me dumb shit, dude.
My trolls send me dumb shit, dude. The delivery driver is going to be like, what?
Yeah, what troll? This guy believes in trolls.
He looks like the type that would, too.
Yeah, so how is it trolling me, dude? Exactly. So,
Is that another McDonald's bag? Do we have another Happy Meal possibly?
Trolled mercilessly like nonstop like the last 10 plus years of my life, so I'm used to it. Yeah, because they're obsessed. What's in the McDonald's order by chance? Oh, I don't want it, dude. They've always sent me like 2 of them already. Weird, man. Yeah, my trolls are weird. Yeah, if you want that nice, help yourself. Sending me a kids meal the first couple of times didn't work, so let me repeat it.
He gave the kids. Oh no! I have my mouth open. No!
And that didn't cost me a penny, except 2 cents.
Amazing.
He fucking shit his pants after turning down the third Happy Meal. He gave the third Happy Meal to the delivery driver and then shit his pants.
God damn. Holy shit.
Oh my goodness. That was a dog food fart. The Boglum mating call.
He did eat cat food again recently, so he's done it.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, yep. It's something else.
Didn't even cost him a penny except for his 2 cents. And then he middle finger farted in your face. Damn.
God damn it. I'm going to set up a poll that's going to determine what we do on tonight's post show.
Well. This is where our chat picks the post show. But a lot of these people aren't even going to watch the post show, Ben. That was a flaw in last week's poll.
We're giving people who might be new patrons the option to vote.
What if we put it behind a paywall on Patreon to vote? Then they could go become patrons to have to vote.
How about we discuss these kind of things not live on the air?
I don't know. It's not that complicated of a thing. We'll talk about it later. Bob Barker's Fat Fist retracted their message. I read that, Bob Barker's Fat Fist. You ain't doing that to Vanna White, you sicko. Your fat fist ain't fitting in there. Take that, plebs. It was an accident. Cobra's body runs optimally on fast food and cat food and dog gravy. We know that to be true. Like the stream.
All right, so the poll. So this is the post show. It's available for $10 patrons. We'll do it after this show's over, which we still have probably like 20 minutes left before we're going to go do that. And the three choices are that 80s show pilot episode, which is a spinoff in the...
If Mama JF is still lived, JF killed her.
Yeah,
that's true.
In some ways,
that's true. Seth looks. That's the best case scenario is that JF goes to prison for killing Mama JF, and like 3 to 4 years into his prison sentence, she just shows up.
So that 80s show, it was a shitty pilot. That it was an attempt of that 70s show spinoff that they tried in the 90s, and it did not do well at all. So there's that. There's the Undertaker and Mick Foley this past year rewatched their famous Hell in a Cell match and did a live commentary of it. There's that. And then I also have JF and G-Man going at each other after it was actually later on the episode that was the whole Garbage Island episode.
Ooh.
So I'll leave that up until we're done here and we'll see... Get your votes in, and also you should sign up patreon.com/DP.
Everybody vote for the Undertaker. Everybody vote for the Undertaker.
Just vote for whatever you want.
Vote for what I want. Vote for the Undertaker. The only way JF gets out of this is if Mama JF comes out of the woods with an actual Sam Squanch Bigfoot. Aces Agent 006. Good point, Agent 006.
All right, and here's the direct link to tonight's post show. You can go there and sign up, $10 patron pledge or above. We're not done here yet, but that's where we're going to go when we're done here. Check out this guy's video. This guy is, I guess, an Eric July defender. Let's see.
We've seen so much go so far over comic books at the end of the day. We're all supposed to be here in a space where we can come together over what we love. Comics, books, science fiction, whatever the fandom is that you are interested in, we all should be able to celebrate that together. I did a great interview with former DC Comics head Dan DiDio yesterday, who was saying exactly that same thing. But people take things too far on the internet. They get really angry. They go out there and they do vicious things towards people where it tends to be something that goes way over the line. And this happens all the time. I've seen it happen towards me. I mean, gosh, Heather Antos called security on me at SDCC, San Diego Comic Con, just because I was there reporting on comic books. I didn't do anything. It was absolutely crazy. Now we're seeing this happening to Rippa. The haters have gone at Rippa for a long time. Of course, because of this, someone even made a false flag situation where they alerted some Christian organization to ISIM being a trademark to try to go at Rippa, even legally, to mess with his business. But now it's bleeding over into real life, and this is something that nobody should have to deal with. All right, My name is John Delarose. I am a #1 best-selling author and award-winning comic creator. This is my Subscribe Star right here. It's a Patreon alternative. I'm trying to create monthly comics and do so right on here. The people here actually support our comics, support our art, support our cultural movement, because we are trying to fight the culture war through something new. Now, Patreon banned me, of course. Somebody went and false flagged me back in the day. And so I'm on here. This is a great website that allows free speech and allows us to produce our content unmolested. So please get on here, support our cause, support our books. I really appreciate you guys. And if there's more content that you want, that you really would love as a subscriber, definitely leave a message on here. We listen to our customers. We love you guys. You're the best people on the planet. Thanks so much. And guys, also, if you want my regular books, they're up on my web store. All these links are in the description below. So here we are. We have this guy was running anti-Eric July sort of Twitter account a while back. That got taken down for some sort of DMCA thing. I don't know exactly what happened back at that point. But he's big mad to the point where he shows up at Ripa's warehouse right here. Now, according to Eric July, this is not even the publicly listed place that's on the books that go out. It's a private location at that. So how did he get the information from this place? It looks like it actually came from the DMCA, not the DMCA, the trademark.
It says on the window what it is.
Yeah, it's not that private.
No.
Complaint proper, which is kind of private information also. Very weird happening here. This shouldn't happen.
Kind of private information.
Up to people's like real life spaces like this. I mean, it's a difference to like talk to a guy at a convention or in public like that. It is very different to like go to someone's like private warehouse that's not listed anywhere, paste some weird dollar bills on there. Odd stuff. Now you see the bunnies here. This comes from Dick Masterson's web sort of thing, their streaming thing, and all of them put little bunnies in the chat there. I guess that's something to do with that. I don't really watch that show.
It's because Eric July said Dick Masterson looked like a bunny.
Looked like Buster Baxter from the fucking Arthur cartoon. The bunny boy from the Arthur cartoon.
I know that's where it comes from. So that's where that meme comes from, I guess. So he's trying to signal that he's one of Vito and Dick Masterson's people by doing this. I don't think that helps Dick Masterson Vito whatsoever. Really bad optic here, regardless. Ethan Van
Sciver, he is their producer of the fucking show,
and he did call the cops. Eric July, there's like a police report now.
On this dude,
Eric July called the cops.
Yeah,
missing these people. They don't know you or understand your intentions or your boundaries. This is too far. And the guy claims it's a joke, but at the same time, yeah, when you don't know somebody, it does get scary if somebody shows up. I had people threaten to do harm to me back in 2018 when I was banned from the World Science Fiction Convention. They said if I showed up in the city of San Jose, and this was a city of San Jose employee who did this, that there'd be fists thrown or whatever. I was like, holy crap, crazy. And I also received a weird package at my house. I've got little kids, so I was like, it was exploding glitter bomb type.
Oh no, I've had glitter bombs sent to me.
Thing. I had no idea what it was.
But you didn't have a little kid around. That could have turned the little kid gay, Ben. Don't you know about glitter bombs?
Very scary when you've got little children present for something like that. I didn't know who did it, whether it was a fan, whether it was a foe. Not a good thing. And I think it was one of the people from the mainstream comic industry to this day, but nobody took credit for it. So this is the type of thing that gets very scary for a content creator.
I assume it was somebody from Marvel.
It was Stan Lee.
Nobody should have to deal with this in real life.
Gotta be Stan Lee.
I mean, gosh, he just has haters going at him from every angle.
Poor Ripa.
24 hours a day.
It's not like he literally asked for it and then joked about it afterwards. Code pull up. You literally asked for it, you fucking asshole. Poor Ripa. He literally asked for this. He literally makes segments monetizing the haters. He literally wants this from somebody he can handle. The second he can't handle it, he acts like a fucking crybaby victim. Pussy!
That big in some ways. I'm sorry. Oof, really rough stuff. Even Gail Simone decided to comment on this and say yikes about it. Gail Simone, of course, is one of the rabid leftists in the industry, but she understands like there's a line that shouldn't be crossed. And like when you've got left and right coming together on something like that, you know that there's an issue and it's gone too far. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.
I don't see what he did that went too far. He just taped some stuff to the window and filmed a video and left. He didn't
did
assault
nothing.
anybody. I don't get it.
Nothing went too far. This guy's a puss.
Yeah.
They all want to just act like there's some crazy line you can't cross, but who draws the fucking line and who benefits from the line?
Riley taped some shit to stuff in here, and I just threw it away.
Wow, man, I can't believe you defied
I
death
should have
like
killed him.
that.
Should have killed
You
him.
had every right to murder him. Maybe Mama JF duct tape a fucking sticker to JF's wall. That's why he killed her. We don't know. He could be an innocent murderer.
I wish I could make you disappear. Remember that?
Who'd you say that to?
Oh, it was you and Jeff doing your little back and forth.
Oh.
As Mama JF, and at the end he was like, because you were like, evidence disappear, and he was like, I wish I could make you disappear.
Wow.
Yeah.
JF!
Yep.
The Sam Squad stole my mayonnaise! JF! JF! I'm lost in the mayonnaise mountains, JF! I can't do it. My throat's all fucked
Yeah,
up
what's
today.
wrong? You got the COVIDs?
Yeah, I just got type 2 COVID.
COVID beat us?
I've been coughing today. Got a bit of a
Have
cough.
you been wheezing?
Yeah, I'm dying.
You've been coughing and wheezing.
Yeah, I'm dying.
Oh shit. So
They diagnosed me. They diagnosed me with the big C. A lot of
chlamydia?
people think that's no, not chlamydia. Most people think cancer, Ben.
Oh, I just thought chlamydia automatically.
No, it's neither of those though. The C is for big cock.
Wouldn't that be BC?
The big C. They only for some reason they only shorten the cock.
I see. JF and G-Man is winning the poll right now. I'll give everyone a few minutes here to get your votes in. Get your votes in. I pinned it in the chat if you want to come along and watch. It's JF versus G-Man because after that guy leaves, we bring G-Man in, and there's an interesting conversation that we're going to do a live reaction to in the post show. So you should sign up. Sign up to the post show.
I don't want people voting for it thinking they're going to see the G-Man versus JF Garepi rap battle.
It's
That's
not the rap
what
battle.
this is, guys. Something completely different.
It's not the rap battle. I'm gonna step away for a few more moments, and I'll come back, and then we'll close up the voting.
It's your favorite time again. It's Big Face Billy on the screen. Ask me anything and you'll get answers. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I did not kill Mama JF. For murder is a crime of passion. Her and I were in a passionless relationship. JF versus G-Man is the first time I ever saw DP. Wow. Wow. Don't everybody talk at once. Can't handle all these comments coming in. Billy, what's your favorite Warhammer 40k army and why is it the orcs? Are there orcs in 40k? To be honest with you, I don't know. I like the Chaos Space Marines somewhat. Big Face Billy of the Lake, what is your wisdom? Well, Anthony Caruso, true wisdom comes from knowing. Living, existing, can't just be given, must be received. Are you ready to receive? Noodle says, do you wash between your toes? Not in the shower. I don't know. Afterwards, though, when I'm out, I will run a little wet nap between each toe. The type of wet nap you get at like a barbecue restaurant after eating ribs. I have my toe naps. Representative Neckerman says, I don't talk for one day and no one else does either, but what is your favorite movie of all time? Right now, I really, I think I put 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri as my favorite movie of all time. I think I saw a good movie last night starring Peter Dinklage, had Marisa Tomei and Anne Hathaway in it. It was called She Came to Me. It was a good film. It was a fine film. The Jester's Window says, Billy, remember, it's much better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. I don't know if that's true. I think wars are full of warriors, and a gardener can give a different perspective.
Thank you for signing up.
Bravo the Chunk.
Thank you, Bravo the Chunk. I'm going to close the poll in like 1 minute here. Get your votes in.
When will Cobes die from the not mead? Hopefully never. Hopefully his gut's used to it. Why can't we be both gardeners and warriors? That's the true secret. The gardener is just a warrior that sees himself as something other than a killer. The killer sees himself as a killer. That's where he ends. He sees himself as more, and the war is just where he begins. See yourself as more than a warrior. But be the warrior. Don't be the puss.
All right. We are going to step into the post show now. Everyone should follow us there. It's linked right there at the top of the chat. Just sign up. It's $10 Patreon monthly pledge. You can cancel at any time. The link is live right now. You can come watch. We're going to go do this now. We will see you all there. Goodbye.